Hi everybody, welcome to Heel Heat. This is our Ring of Honor show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Ian Ryan.
Hey, Axel. Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And we'll go right into the show. First match of the night was Silas Young versus Michael Elgin.
Impressive opening match. This Silas Young, he's got a lot to. I don't know. There's just something about the guy. I think he's really captivating so far. You know.
Do you think he could be used in a bigger role than they are? So far, they've had him job quite often.
I think they should put him with Truth Martini. I think he's a perfect fit for Truth. You know, if Truth is really going to start rebuilding the House of Truth, he's only got the one guy so far. So I think he'd be a great expansion, and maybe for a tag team division or something.
I like Silas. I know Michael Elgin's one of your favorite Ring of Honor wrestlers.
Elgin is. There's just something about Elgin. He has an it factor also that it's like they're not really using him to his full potential. I think he could be a great monster. I know your biggest problem with him is his haircut.
Yeah, I don't like the haircut. I don't like your haircut either, but
I think you should get a haircut. Anyways,
what?
Indeed. I mean, really, how strong was this for an opening match?
That was a wonderful opening match. Silas Young, I think they need. Someone's going to realize that this guy is better than what they're using him as basically a glorified enhancement talent. And I think he's going to start to get a rub very soon. And Michael Elgin's a guy that's already near the top of the card there. So
I think all that back room has to do is watch this match and realize that maybe we should let this guy start getting over some more.
Now our next match is it started off with Charlie Haas in the ring talking trash to basically anybody that wanted to listen. About Shelton Benjamin, the fans, Scum, the Ring of Honor roster, which he challenged anybody in the building, and out came the littlest lumberjack, Grizzly Redwood.
I thought it was a short match, but it wasn't terrible. I thought it was really good.
Hey. Why's it got to be a short match? Just because Grizzly's in it?
True. It wasn't a long match, but but other than that, I mean, I liked it. How did you like the match?
I thought it was good. The thing, and I said it to you while we were watching it, this is a match that they could have let Grizzly Redwood win. I think Grizzly, I'm a fan of his. He's someone that they don't let win often, and this is one that could have been a huge win for him. A surprise win would not have hurt Charlie Haas's career. It would have gave him someone to feud with until Shelton at the pay-per-view, which I think they could have did a little bit with it. I don't know. It's just a little gripe. I think they use this match. I think they use this match to spotlight Mike Mondo coming back, because Mike Mondo came out and saved Redwood after the match while Charlie Haas wouldn't take him out of the House of Pain.
Well, I think what they're planning on is if Shelton doesn't show up, it'll probably be Mondo taking that spot.
I think Shelton showed up. I just think they need someone to bridge the gap until that time, because Shelton, I think he's in Japan if I remember right. But I thought it was good. It brought out Mike Mondo. Mondo basically, is back now and available on the roster.
We'll see how it goes with that.
Which also brought out Scum came down in full force. And they came out to the ring, basically accosted Veda Scott, made demands that next week is going to be an all Scum show, or else Veda is going to get it from Cliff Compton, which Nigel McGuinness agreed with. So next week we're going to see every match has a member of Scum in it.
I hope they don't do what TNA did with the Aces and Eights and have Scum job every match. I think the best thing for Scum would be a clean sweep all next week.
Running the tape. Before we get into the main event and a member of Scum in that, we're going to talk about our question of the week from last week. Now the question was, what underused WWE talent do you think would make a good Ring of Honor wrestler or Ring of Honor talent?
Why don't you start this time? I want to hear your opinion on it.
Well, alright. It's a guy that's probably going to be a surprise to you, but I think Michael McGillicuddy, a.k.a. Joe Hennig, I think he's someone that for whatever reason hasn't been able to keep a spot on the main roster. I know he wrestles on Superstars often, and he jobs on main event, but there's something about the kid, other than he's Mr. Perfect's son, which has carried some weight. I think he stands on his own. He has a presence. He's a good wrestler. I say he goes somewhere like Ring of Honor for a few years, comes back to WWE, or even stays in Ring of Honor. I think his star will only rise.
I'm going to go with one of your favorites. I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston. Kofi's been so close to breaking the glass ceiling in the WWE that it's sad. It's sad to see him where he is now, jobbing every week. You put Kofi down at Ring of Honor, I think he will flourish. He can work with it. He's still, fast enough and young enough to work at the speed a lot of these younger guys can, and help some of them increase their ability. I think a main event with him and
Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal. I think him and Steen would have a great match.
Him and Roderick Strong.
Definitely. I mean, you look at all the match. You take a look at all the top talent. Take a look at all the top talent that Ring of Honor has right now, and you put them versus Kofi Kingston. You got a main event.
I think the same could be said about McGillicuddy.
Oh, I do too.
Can you imagine Haas versus McGillicuddy?
Another one that's not with WWE right now, and he's not really anywhere as far as I can think of, is John Morrison. John Morrison would clean up anywhere he goes. I honestly think he get the raw end of the stick because who he was screwing, and with the whole situation with Dave Bautista, because he should have been a multiple-time world champion right now. He was 10 times better than The Miz, and we see how The Miz is going as a face, and look how much over Morrison was as a face than The Miz.
Well, that's our opinions on it. Now, next week, our question of the week for next week is, it's been a few weeks, we've seen a couple shows, it's been since the internet pay-per-view. How have you guys liked the expansion of Scum so far as it's played out on TV or on the pay-per-view or however else? Let us know what you think, if you like the guys that were at it, if you don't like them, if you think they went too big, if they're not big enough. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, put it down where?
Down there.
Right down there in the comments.
Tough man.
And speaking of Scum, we had one of the new members of Scum, Matt Hardy versus Adam Cole in a rematch.
And like I was telling you when we were watching this match, I think this was 10 times better than their first meeting. Like you even pointed out, Hardy's lost some weight and he's cleaned up, and he's starting to really give a damn. And so I really can't fault him. I mean, honestly, he was trying this match, and Cole wasn't carrying it the whole time like he was their first interaction.
I think a drug-free, in-shape Matt Hardy could be a huge asset to Ring of Honor or any company. I always thought that Matt was the better technician than Jeff. Jeff just had more of charisma and that spot monkey style, where Matt has more of an actual Matt psychology to him.
Matt had a better wrestling ability. He's also, I always thought, was better on the mic than Jeff.
Well, but Jeff has a charisma than Matt does.
He does.
Matt's
I'll give him
bland.
that. Matt, but you take a look at his old V1 stuff. I mean, that was priceless. I
think when they let him be a douchebag, he's at his best.
He is. I don't know if that's how he is personally in real life. Who cares? I'm not. I'm not his psychologist or his sponsor or whatever you want to call it. But the guy could be money.
Surprised DDP's not his sponsor.
Honestly, I think if you give him 3-4 months with DDP Yoga, I mean, look what it's done with Jake Roberts, and look how so far Scott Hall's doing. I think honestly, he's young enough. He's only a couple of years older than both of us. That he could have another big run for Vince, for these guys, even for TNA. It's all a matter of Hardy wants it. And I think he's wanting it now. And I enjoyed this match. The outcome was good because neither of them should have took a loss.
Right. And that's when Scum came down and attacked, and then the roster came out, and we had gang warfare and then the show. Something I wanted to talk about, I didn't mention it when we were watching it, but it was kind of weird to me. I remember when Matt Hardy evolved and he stopped wearing the big parachute pants and he wore the trunks with the key on the side. Why did he go back to that? I kind of liked that he looked different than his brother.
The reasoning I heard it was because it was when he started having he had a gastro problem at first, I believe it was, where he was gaining the weight, and you could really see he was gaining weight when he was wearing the trunks. The pants hide it. I think, honestly, if he loses the weight, he should go back to with the tights with the keys or something else.
It's just a little weird thing. I just think the difference in the look between him and his brother, made it something interesting to me. It made it not seem so much as they were a tag team as they were singles wrestlers. You know what I'm saying?
That plus, I mean, if you really look at it, if you take a look at him and his brother, you take a look at a video from 10 years ago, they're probably wearing the same clothes. You know, I think his brother does more face paint now and stuff like that, which is what it is. I'm not a big fan of that unless it was a superstar that always had it, like Sting, Muda,
Goldust,
you know.
Like he's always had it.
Well, I mean, he had it as Goldust. You know, it was kind of hiding the image that he had back in his old WCW days. You know, I was a fan of Goldust. You know, I mean, Dustin Runnels is one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. We were talking about during this match when Matt hit the edge on Adam Cole, and we were saying how, you know, to hit that on somebody, you got to catch him just right. And like I said, he's really improved to the Matt Hardy he was.
Yeah.
He's getting closer. I mean, Matt Hardy healthy, wanting to wrestle, I think he's a great asset to Ring of Honor, Scum, or whoever he works for.
I totally agree. And it made me very happy. This was a match, if you guys remember when we reviewed the Final Battle, this was one of the matches that we didn't like at all on the card.
It was the only ones, wasn't it?
It was one of the, it was this and maybe another one, if that. But this was actually a really good match. A good screwy ending, which they don't run much in Ring of Honor, so when they do it, it matters. So let's get right into it. Out of our rating of 1 to 5, what would you give the show? 5 being the best, 1 being the worst.
You know, you're probably going to shit on me for saying this, but I honestly thought this was the best wrestling show all week. There was no downs, a lot of ups. I'm going to give it a 5.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. You know, I really...
So if you look at what happened through the night, there has not been a bit of downtime. Hoss came out right after a great match, had a decent match with Grizzly Redwood. You know...
the way the storyline progression happened in the show.
Exactly.
The storylines going forward, it set up... They gave us enough to keep us interested to tune back in. The 3 matches, the Haas and Grizzly Redwood was probably the worst of the 3. It was more of a glorified squash, but wasn't bad at that. Grizzly Redwood's a guy that can sell for anybody.
He's a guy you want to root for.
I agree with you. It was a 5 in my opinion, too. I think Ring of Honor hit one out of the park with this show. It was done really well. Everything about it I liked. I think you do as well.
Yeah, I honestly think that these guys are putting on the best product right now. And it all depends on, with our question of the week, we're going to see how it shows up on next week's show. You know, with the expansion of Scum, let's see how well it shows on television. Let's see how well these guys work in matches.
Well, basically, that's all I have to say about it. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't think we're good.
My name's George Coles.
I'm Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.